Earlier we looked at the resource monitor, but I wanted to show you sort of a mini version of it that can be handy at times, and it's in the Task Manager. I'm going to click Control-Alt-Delete and go to the Task Manager. Here we have a a performance tab right here. If I click the performance tab, I get CPU, memory, my hard disks, and my network. I even get a graphics card readout. So this is something I did not get in the resource monitor. And here you can see that as I click on these various things, I can get a report of how much memory is being used, how much CPU is being used, and so forth. Let's look at my GPU. Let's see what happens if I start up a minor operation during the use of my GPU. So let's see here. Let's see if my GPU will show that minor. Yeah, right here. It's taken off down here. All of a sudden it was running down here doing next to nothing, and all of a sudden it's running up in here now. My CPU also took off. I was running very, very hard on my CPU. If we stop that miner, I'll right click here and click close window and go back here. All of a sudden CPU drops back down and the GPU usage drops back down here. So this is a handy little way to see real-time usage on everything, similar to the resource monitor. Now there are some other things going on here in the Task Manager that might be handy as well. For example, processes. I can see all of the processes that are running on my system and the power impact that they're having, as well as the CPU, memory, disk, and network, and GPU impact that they're having. If I click here on memory, I can see that Screencast-O-Matic, my video software, has the greatest impact on memory, followed by my anti-malware service, and then my Search Everything, which is a searching software. So I can see what's having the greatest impact on my memory. The greatest impact on my CPU is also, let's click that one, let's see, Screencast-O-Matic, and the greatest impact on my disk is also the same thing, and so on. Let's click over here on my app history, and I can see what effect various applications have had on each of those things. If I look at startup, I can see the startup items that are enabled, and I can disable those things. So if I don't want any disk, for example, to start up when my system starts, I can click any disk, and then down here in the very bottom corner I can click disable and cause that not to start up when I start the system. Over here I can look at individual users and tell what those users are running, and not only that, I can tell what impact of the various applications that those users are using have had on the system. So if I look down here and I say, hey, you know, Fred is really doing a lot of stuff that's taking a lot of network time here, then I can go talk to Fred and find out what he's doing. Why is Fred downloading multiple gigabytes of information, for example? The details is kind of like processes, except that for details I can look at all these processes and I can actually see the number, the process ID number that spawned those processes. And then under services, I can see all of the services that are running, and I can even start and stop and restart those services from here. Or I can open the services.msc from here, where I have even more control over those services by going to the properties here. And then I've got the logon, the recovery, the dependencies, and then all the general information for the startup type that I can control from here. But remember, we're now outside of the Task Manager and we're in the services.msc snap-in. But here I'm in the Task Manager where I only have some basic control over the services. So we have quite a bit of performance stuff that we can do here in the Task Manager as well.